Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.
G'day and welcome to another exciting episode of Classic Restos. Yes, I'm in a rental vehicle, and the total length of this car is just a little bit more than the bonnet of my Cadillac. In fact, this car is so small you've got to stop and get out just to make your mind up. But it'll do for the purpose of getting me to the gig. I return to one of my all-time favourite places, and that is picturesque New Zealand. And as I shuffle through a box of gears to bring this grocery getter up to the speed limit, here is some information from my advertisers that help bring Classic Restos to you each and every week.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. For oils, coolants, additives and technical assistance, Oil Right, use Penrite. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. This is when Kumeu comes alive. Welcome to the 2016 Kumeu Classic Car and Hot Rod Festival. This is Kumeu in New Zealand, and in this car, around a 50-minute drive northwest of Auckland. Kumeu is a small town, the typical country feel of regional New Zealand, where a laid-back lifestyle, leafy backdrops and the pace of people reminds me of how we were in Australia around 1985. State Highway 16 and the North Auckland line passed through the town, and for 6 years the town was the terminus of the isolated Kumeu Riverhead section railway many years ago. The population here 10 years back was just over 6,500 people. I think now it's 6,500 people. But this weekend, there is a huge influx of population, perhaps to the point where it doubles, which is fantastic for the town. Our first victim on today's show, we have Eric. Hello, Eric. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. What a car this is. This stands out. It pops in the sun. A 1968 Barracuda. What a credit to you. I take it you've done the full resto, right?
We have, yep.
How long did it take you?
Took us 4 years. It was a 4-year build from scratch to finish.
What was it like when you started?
It was a real good car right from the start, but we wanted to modify it and do different things to it. So that's what it ended up like.
You know, one thing that stands out with this car, I love the dashboard. I just love that little bit of wood grain. It's just so well done. You've just restored the lot. It looks sensational.
Yeah, the dash came up really well. I actually pulled that out and sent that back to America and had that redone over there. All the chroming on it. The rest of it is all original. So the wood grain's original as it was.
Outstanding on the interior, same colour on the inside of the tops of the doors. That turned out very, very nice. Now, what is that colour, by the way, Eric?
It's actually a Challenger, late model Challenger orange, modified with a bit of gold pearl.
Yeah. I mean, Mopar back in their day, I mean, they were renowned for their outlandish colours, weren't they?
They sure were. Yeah, you had a lot of purples and bright greens and bright yellows, yeah.
Now, look, the car looks $1 million. It gets to the go-go department. Now, what's running under the hood there?
Under the hood is a 400 Chrysler Wedge, and it's been stroked out to 496 cubes.
That's an unusual combination. It's usually the small blocks or big blocks. The 400 kind of gets a little bit overshadowed, don't they?
They do, but they are a very popular block, and it's a real good combination to use. They're actually quite a strong block, even compared to the 440s. They're slightly meatier down below in the down in the crank area.
One thing about the Mopar stuff, from 318 small blocks all the way through, they've got good bottom ends, they're a good strong engine. Now this particular car, you've gone with the 6-pack setup. Works okay?
Works really well. Yeah, we fitted the 6-pack onto it from day one and set it up on the dyno and tuned it, and it's been on the road 4 or 5 years now, and we haven't put a spanner or a screwdriver on that 6-pack setup or any of the rest of the car.
Yeah, there you go. Eh? Once they're set up right, you shouldn't have many dramas at all. And in ending, Eric, boots out back. I mean, you guys you get this road registered over here. Not a problem in New Zealand.
Not a problem. It had to go through the certification process as we do here in New Zealand, but yeah, it flew through, no problem at all.
You get the power down nicely. You get some grip and take off.
Yeah. No, the rear suspension works really well. It's got Caltrax on the back, and that really helps on the track. We haven't pushed it on the track yet, but it's run 11.5s as it is at 120 mile an hour.
Yeah, that hasn't been pushed. That's doing that.
No, not yet. No. Well, this is my wife's car. I didn't build it for myself.
It's just
I had something else.
It's just getting better and better, isn't it? Eric, it's a pleasure to talk to you, mate. Your wife's a very lucky lady with this outstanding car. It really is. And as I alluded to earlier in the interview, it's not every day that you see a 68 Barracuda, especially restored like this. Well done, mate.
Thank you, Fletch.
Over here in New Zealand, the town of Isiwazisik, just south of Didi Chakachunda, is Wakitani. And they have the Classic Rod and Custom Club. Time now to go and interview a guy that's built a rod in his backyard out of crap. Time for Dan. How are you, Dan?
I'm good, Fletch. Yourself?
Good, mate. Good. Tell me, where'd you get this bucket of bolts?
This car came out of Wyoming. It was built in 52, 53 by a couple of young guys up there. And we found it, me and a friend of mine, Gary Kendall, we found it up there in 2006, 2007. And yeah, we brought it back to New Zealand and we put that 283 in it and off we went. Yeah, it was good.
When it comes to the weird and wonderful, I tell you what, you'll find it here in New Zealand. I mean, you Kiwi boys, there's no stopping you guys. I mean, if the thing runs, you drive it.
That's it, man. Yeah, no, it's good. It's done a 12.8 down the quarter and stuff at 106 miles an hour. Yeah, no, it's pretty scary, eh? But it's all right. It's good fun.
Jeez, I tell you what, there'd be marks on the steering wheel from the guy hanging on.
Yeah, and the seat, eh?
Absolutely. Only him and his dry cleaner knew how scared he was.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah.
Dan, let's look at the features of this car. Yep. Now, I have to make comment on the incredible windscreen, the deflector shield.
Deflector.
Yeah, piece of tin there bent up.
Yep. The car, it's as we found it, it's a 28 Model A Sports Coupe. And then they shortened the wheelbase on a Model A frame, and then they used all the old Ford V8 radius rods and stuff to strengthen the body and stuff, and it's got old 32 steering box and stuff in it. It's got the American Racing magnesium 12 spokes and the American Racing 5 spokes on the back, and it's just, yeah, it's how it was. Yeah, it's good.
I tell you what, Dan, you wouldn't want to run up the back of the thing either. I mean, a bit of 100mm, bit of 4-inch gal pipe there as a bar.
That was the old ballast, and they put some lead in there if they needed to get a bit more weight on the tyres, as the tyres went that flash back then, you know.
So. What an incredible statement. I mean, really, this is where hot rodding first began, didn't it?
Sure. Yeah, that's where it started, you know, just young kids having fun, finding what they could, and they just wanted to go fast, man. That's it.
And it's not very often you see a steering pitman arm and a drag link coming out of the side of your cabin.
Nah, it's not the recommended thing, but it all works, and it worked then and it works now, so no reason to change it, you know. So
good on you, Dan. Well, thanks for bringing something along that is so bizarre. Open wheels, no mud guards, open frame. You can see most of the thing. I mean, talk about air conditioning. I mean, this thing's gone mad.
That's it. It's yeah, definitely needs some ice, you know. It gets a bit hot and you need the wind going, eh? So you got to get going.
That's a go, Dan. Before we go, what did you do to your right arm? Hand there, what happened there?
Playing with a Smithy's muffler, eh? Yeah, that's all we need to say about that.
A bit of a burn going on.
More of a cut, but that's all good. We'll be right. Yeah. No worries.
All right, mate. You take care of yourself.
Take care, eh?
All right. Thanks, Dan.
See you, mate. Bye.
In fact, here in Kumeu, there is just so much to see and do. Behind me here on the grounds, a row of sheds. And we'll see just some of the goodies that are hiding in there on next week's episode of Classic Restos. You're watching the 2016 Kumeu Classic Car and Hot Rod Festival, and you're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more right after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House.
Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
Moving through the warm New Zealand sun, we've gone from muscle car to a rat rod to now one of these classics. And we've got Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
Good, thanks, Fletch. Doing well.
That's right, mate. You and your wife, Judy, the both of you, you're living the dream. You've got your picnic basket all set up here. You've got your tailgate. You've got a classic wagon. You've got the Nomad, a 56 model. Doesn't get much better, does it?
We love it, mate. You've got to do it while you can. Living the dream, as you say.
Now, tell us about this stunning Nomad, Kevin, because I like to pick on a Nomad because, number one, well, the main reason, we don't see too many around. Now, there's a bit of history here with this car. It sat for a few years.
Yep.
Share the rest of it with us.
Okay, it was probably about 10 years ago. A buddy of mine, Gary Adams, Golly in New Plymouth, he was living in California and he happened to find this Nomad sitting in a guy's backyard, grass growing around it, halfway up, and he managed to talk it out of the guy. So he sent us an email, a couple of guys, and said, look what I've found. And said it was on the market, so I was away from home, but I said to Judy, ring that man up and let's do a deal.
Isn't that amazing?
Here it is.
So, condition of it, Kevin, was it very good or was it a basket case?
No, it was in good shape. We had to put some new sills on it and front pans, but apart from that, we took the body off the chassis, did all the running gear, put a new 350, 2-inch drop spindles, discs, gas tank.
Drop spindles up the front end, there they go, aren't they?
Yep, and good brakes to make it stop with that little 350 in it. Goes well. No.
Don't you love these cars, though? I mean, their design, their shape, their style. They were built with some finesse. And I love the hood ornaments, solid die-cast, rocket-inspired, like forward motion, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all go. This car's got all the original factory extras on it, like the bumpers, as you said, the front top chrome and all the bits and pieces, and it's a lovely touring car.
I love the colour-coded dashboards, too. The same colour inside as outside.
Yeah, and they had some neat colours back in the 50s, and now it goes well. We always get the thumbs up with it.
Yep. And there's something too about driving an old car where you look through the steering wheel because the damn thing's so high.
That's right. And the main thing with driving old cars, it's the people you meet. Like just this morning, since you've been here, how many people have come up? People that you know for years ago and new friends. It's great.
Yep. Well, I love coming here. I love you guys over here, our Kiwi neighbours. I've said this for many, many years, never to be underestimated. The cars you have here, lots of American cars, lots of left-hand drive cars. You guys really rule supremacy per capita. There's no other country in the world with more American cars per capita than right here in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's dead right, Fletch. No, we've got some unique cars and great to enjoy them.
Now, your lovely wife Judy over there sitting in the shade there while we're here sweating in the sun. Judy's over there in the shade, got the soft drink going. Now, what's the go there with Judy? She a car lady as well?
Yes, I'm very fortunate that, in fact, she drives the Nomad more than what I do. In fact, I really didn't want to come, but she dragged me out.
Now I know he's telling fibs. Kevin, it's lovely catching up with you again. Have seen you before at the Americana event down in the Taranaki.
That's where we live.
Yep.
Great event. Come on over.
All right. You take care of yourself, Kevin. Lovely to catch up with you both. And until next time, huh?
Cheers, mate.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Moving through the fantastic 2016 Kumeu Classic Car and Hot Rod Festival. It's now time for Michael. Hello, mate.
Good afternoon, Fletch. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, thank you. What a great day.
It certainly is. And what attributes to such a great day and a fantastic event is guys like you. You brought this sensational 1934 V8 Ford. Michael, that doesn't get much better than this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's all been restored about 5 years ago, and it's done about 2,000 miles since a total restoration, and it's a joy to drive.
Michael, it's absolutely stunning. I mean, it's a flawless example.
Yes, it's Cordova grey with poppy red wheels. It's got a nice tan soft top and the leather seats in the interior, and also the dicky seat.
To think in 1934, for a car like this to be built, it's stunning now. It must have been amazing back then. Now, we've got a V8 engine here. Let's just talk about that for a sec. Now, what's the size of that V8, Michael?
It's a 21 stud flathead V8, and also Bonnie and Clyde used to race their cars in America in the early 30s and became quite notable.
Absolutely, and Henry Ford actually received a letter from Clyde complimenting Mr. Ford on his sensational new V8 engine, because he was in the industry that he had to get away quick from time to time, and no one could catch him in his Ford V8.
Extremely quick, I would imagine.
Back then. Michael, cubic capacity of the V8, do you know its size?
221 cubic inch.
Wow.
Yes.
Gee, 221 cubic inches back in 1934. That's amazing. Now, the way the car drives, is it a good thing to drive?
Yes, it is. You've got to respect the car, because don't forget it's almost only 70 years old now, and it takes a bit of you've got to realise that the car is not a new car, and you've got to drive it accordingly, especially with the brakes. Yep. And you've got no signal indicator. You've got to use your hands, so you've got to be very cautious all the time.
The interior is absolutely beautiful. Period correct in every way, through to that dicky seat, as you mentioned, out back. I mean, how cool are these cars to have that little seat out back? You can imagine back in the day how popular that must have been with the kids.
They were, and also too, I get lots of kids even today here, being in the car, being stationary. A lot of children want to hop in the car and just to sit in the car and think, wow, Dad, this is neat. Mum, look at me. So I've had probably 3 or 4 requests today of people wanting to take pictures of the children in the car.
It's quite a stunning car. I mean, we keep on reverting back to this 1934 era, and we look at the front of the car with the die-cast chrome around the top of the radiator support panel, down to the accessories with the leather strap around the spare sitting up there on the fender. I mean, all those little pieces of attention to detail. This particular car too, I've noticed, an electric windscreen wiper.
Yes, it's electric, but it's not very good though. Mind you, the car doesn't go out in the rain anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It's a dead giveaway. The only reason I found it as I saw this wire going up the side of the windscreen, I'm thinking, where's that going? You know?
Yeah, no, it's not very practical, no. So to drive the car in the rain is not much fun, because I've got side curtains there, and of course you want to indicate to the right it's a mission. Yeah. So it's only a fine weather car.
To think these were the cars that depicted the hot rod era. These were the cars that used to be found in junkyards. Guys used to get these, they'd cut them up, they'd chop them, they'd do all weird and wonderful things with them. But here is one in its original condition.
Yeah, this car was sold new in Dunedin in 1935, and was down there for about 10 years, and then a farmer bought it up in Hawke's Bay, and then it was used as a tractor, and they cut the body off, and then when they sold, they put the body back on again, and then it came to Auckland, and then Ford Collector bought the car, and then another guy called Roger Haybittle from Tauranga bought the car and restored it. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
When I say original condition, meaning how it would have looked back in 1934, the running boards, they're superb as well.
Yes, yeah, it's all been done. They got the rubbers in for America for that. Yeah. The dicky seat little door compartment is lovely too, and it's got a nice little luggage tray on the back of the car, which is all original, so we're very lucky.
Also got a comment too, I love the wire wheels. Yes. Love the wire wheels of the Model A.
Yes. Oh, lovely, aren't they? Some nice wire wheels, painted the right colour, with a set of white wheel tyres. Looks absolutely amazing.
Now, keeping in mind too, this is a 1934 Roadster. Now, the wire wheels started back in late 20s, right, Michael?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, the Model A was the first to have the wire wheels, and they went through till 31, and then they made a few models called a B4, which still had the Model A motor, and then they all of a sudden had a big change, went to V8, and then they became famous overnight.
What an incredible time. An incredible time.
It certainly was that, and that revolutionised motoring, really.
Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today's show. I mean, let's face it doesn't get much better than this 1934 Ford. It is absolutely out of the box. Good on you, Michael. Well done.
Thank you, and as Elvis would say, thank you very much.
Yeah, good. Oh, he does. He's been practicing that too. Thanks, mate. If you adore your classic Americana, well, then you'll love being on a Fletch tour. Have a look at this. There is nothing quite like a Fletch tour. Carlisle or Ford Nationals, GM Nationals, and Chrysler Nationals await you.
Coming on the Fletch tour was really great. The people that run the tour are fantastic.
Experience Route 66 from Chicago to Vegas, or choose the Detroit tour, attending the Woodward Dream Cruise.
If you're going to travel anywhere, you've got to do a Fletch tour.
On a Fletch tour, you're looked after every step of the way.
See FletchTours.com or contact All Things Travel, Lara.
Penrite, Australian made, family owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. And Hare and Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannons' laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannons understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
This guy here, his name's Al. He turns up late, so his punishment, he gets to go into Classic Restos. How you doing, Al?
I'm very good, Fletch. You?
Good, mate, good. Tell you what, this car, wow, does it stand out coming in here today. Beautiful car. Now, you've got an emotional story to this. 1969 HT Monaro. Yep. Tell us what's going on.
Belonged to a friend of mine who bought it when he was 18 years old, his dream car. Most young guys then got a girlfriend, turned into a wife, a couple of kids came along. He couldn't afford to do what he wanted to do with the car. Parked in a garage for 30 years. Until he tragically became a quadriplegic, but still didn't want to sell the vehicle. Unfortunately, died 4 years later from the injuries, and I bought it off his daughter.
Wow. You know, when you hear of emotional stories and tugs at the heartstrings, it doesn't get much deeper than that. I mean, for you to have known the guy, you've ended up with his car, I'm sure he's looking down and he's just tickled pink with what you've done to it, Al.
Well, we wanted to keep the car original. We didn't want to butcher the car, so it's original motor, gearbox, diff, which is what he wanted. So
it's a factory 4-speed car as well. I mean, these are starting to get pretty thin on the earth.
Yep. Not too many of them around anymore.
Also, too, Al, good score. I mean, the model before, the 307 Chevy, is supporting the Aussie-built 308. Isn't that good to see? Good old Aussie 308 here in New Zealand, eh?
Classic, eh? Well, at least you got something right.
What's the deal there in terms of engine specs?
It's just been fully rebuilt. Yellow Terra heads from Aussie again. Custom ground cam that we had done here. Roller rockers out of Aussie, pulling about 360 horsepower.
Yeah, which is nice for the street. It's beautiful. Now, speaking of which, of commenting on the colour when you rolled in, what is the colour, Al?
Sebring orange.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's just awesome, isn't it? I mean, it's just really, really beautiful indeed. Now, we look at the interior. What has been done there? Parts of it are original. You've had it retrimmed. What?
We brought in aftermarket seat skins out of Aussie again.
Tell you what, Aussie's getting a good plug, isn't it?
They do some good things.
Yeah, we've been known to.
They're just a reasonable price, you know, and they're actually a good product. They fit well, identical to the original.
Yep. Allan, it's the sort of car that we could talk to you for many hours about. I think it's extra special that it is a mate's car that has passed, and as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't get much deeper than that. Well done. Take my hat off to you. And you've not only preserved his car, you've restored his car. It's concourse condition, and so good, mate. Well done.
Nice talking to you, Fletch.
Well, there you have it. Just some of the 2016 Kumeu Classic Car and Hot Rod Festival here in beautiful New Zealand. And there's going to be more of this sensational event on next week's episode of Classic Restos. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.